Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. How are you? For today's video, I wanted to share with you guys my bronzer declutter video. So to date, recently I've already pretty much done my blush declutter video. I'll have that video linked down below in the description box. I am starting my declutter series. So yeah, like we already did the blushes. We're doing bronzers today. I'm not really sure what category I want to do next. Let me know what you guys want to see next. But yeah, I'm excited about this one. We have a lot to go through, so let's go ahead and get started. Also, if you guys are interested in purchasing any of the items, I will be speaking about them on my Instagram, so follow me there if you're interested in purchasing any of the products. 10% of the proceeds will be going to either a family in need or an organization that I believe in. I love sharing the love if I'm able to, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm so nervous, but I'm so ready for this. Okay, let's go. Okay, moving on to my bronzer drawer. Here is what we're working with. So it's not situated in the neatest way ever. However, once I'm gonna declutter, I'm gonna organize it in a like cutesy, neat way. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first up, I have this donut here by Makeup Revolution. It's in the shade Cinnamon Sugar. It smells amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this. I liked it. I wasn't obsessed with it. Also, I don't tend to use it way too much because it was limited edition and I can never really use it in videos. So I'm gonna declutter this. Next up, I have this duo right here by Gigi Gorgeous. On one side, we get a cooler tone shade and then we get a warmer tone shade here. It's called the Sick Sculpt Duo. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a massive fan of this. I just didn't make my face look as yummy as I would like for it to look. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. Next up, I have this limited edition MAC bronzer here. I love the packaging. It has like these droplets on it and it has like a cool textured feel. This right here is in the shade Refined Golden. It's a pretty warm tone bronzer with gold specks in there. I do like this. I find that it lasts on the skin a pretty long time. It's not a limited edition shade, just the compact is limited edition, so I'm pretty sure you can get this bronzer anytime. I don't find that I reach for this way too much. I feel like I probably used to more back in the day maybe, but not so much now. Also, I had a really hard time decluttering MAC limited edition collections, but I feel like I'm at a point where I'm just kind of ready to let this go, so I think I want to say goodbye. Next up, I have this Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder here. So I kind of by mistake broke the lid. It just kind of like falls off like that, which is kind of annoying. But as you guys can see, I hit pan on this. I absolutely love this. It has more of a warmer vibe to it. Really easy to blend out. Lasts a long time on the skin. Just looks beautiful on. So totally keeping this. I'm obsessed. And it's like $5 at Ulta. Another one that I'm absolutely obsessed with is this one right here from e.l.f. Cosmetics in Forever Sunkist. I really didn't have the highest hopes for this, but I have to say I am absolutely head over heels over this bronzer, considering the fact that it's like $6 to $8. It looks gorgeous on. If you were looking for something that's affordable, nice, long lasting, this one right here is amazing. And of course, I am going to be keeping this. Next up, we have the Too Faced Unicorn Tears bronzer. I know that this was spotted at TJ Maxx for some time, but I actually purchased it for the full price tag on Sephora's site when it released. I really did like it. It actually looks pretty good on the skin considering the fact that it has a very luminous finish to it, and it also kind of looks maybe slightly purple because if you blend it in with the unicorn, it has that vibe to it. I used it a lot when it came out, but I don't find that I gravitate towards it way too much anymore, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter even though it's like the cutest thing ever. I think it's time to say goodbye. Next, I have this bronzer here from Pure Cosmetics. This right here is in the shade The Bronzing Act. I used this a decent amount last year, but I feel like as time went on, it kind of got shoved into the back of my drawer, and I just really don't gravitate towards it a lot. I also really don't feel inspired by using this. I mean, sometimes I feel like I need to be inspired by my bronzers, and this one right here just doesn't call my name, so I'm gonna declutter. This one right here is one of my favorites ever. I feel like I would never get rid of this. It's so good. It's the Luminous Bronze Light Bronzer by Hourglass. This looks super seamless on the skin. I think I used this for my sister's wedding. It is gorgeous on. They have a few shades to choose from. I think this is the lightest one. It works out perfect for my skin tone. And every time I use it, I get happier and happier. So perfectly perfect. I'm keeping this. Next, I have this bronzer right here from NARS. It's in Laguna. It's just a small size. You guys can see I hit major pan on it. I love it. I actually used this the other day, and I want to say that I think the formula is a little bit old, meaning like it just wasn't working as well as I remember it working. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter it. Trash it probably because yeah, there's pretty much barely anything left, and I got a ton of use out of this. I love this. I would probably repurchase this to have it in my collection because it's one of my go-to favorite bronzers of all time. Next up, I have this Rimmel Maxi bronzer here. So this one right here is in medium 02. I did like this. It definitely gives more of like a warmer toned look to the skin. It's very soft. It blends out nicely. I don't necessarily feel like I need to keep it in my life. It kind of reminds me of like the Essence bronzer. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter it. But I did like the formula and I thought it was pretty good. So decluttering, but I did really enjoy it for the time being. Next, we have this right here from ABH. This is one that I purchased from Sephora when it came out. I did not purchase it from TJ Maxx, even though they had it there for ages. This bronzer right here is in the shade 20. I really did love it initially when I purchased it. I felt like it really gave like just the perfect bronze effect to the skin. But I don't know, like I used it recently and I'm just like, I'm not really feeling this. I felt like it was a little bit hard to blend out and I wasn't crazy about the color on my skin either. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. Next up, I have the Hula Bronzer by Benefit. This is a cult classic for me. I adore this. I feel like the shade is just perfect for my skin. It blends out beautifully. It has a perfect undertone to it and I'm obsessed, so I'm gonna keep this. Then I also have this little baby Hula bronzer, so just like a small travel sized one. Normally I would keep this because I think it would just be great to take with me traveling. It's so much smaller than the boxed bronzer by Hula, by Benefit basically, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking I have a few other little babies that I also enjoy, and if I really want to take Hula with me, I'll just take the boxed one. It's fine, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this. Next I have the Fenty Beauty bronzer here. This is just a mini size. This right here is in Caramel Cutie. I haven't used this in such a long time, but I do remember really enjoying it and I still want to keep it in my collection, so yeah, I'm gonna keep this. Next up, I have the Too Faced Sweetie Pie bronzer here. I feel like this is so cute. I love the embossments. I used this a handful of times. I liked what it did for my skin. I feel like it left maybe more of like a reddish, like bronzed effect, which I like from time to time. It's not one that I use religiously these days, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye to it. Next up, I have this Tristique cream bronzer here. I'm actually not the biggest fan of this. I felt like it was a little bit hard to blend out, and I have a few other cream bronzers that I enjoy more, so I'm gonna declutter. Next, I have this Lovecraft Beauty bronzer here. It actually is a really pretty color. Kind of reminds me of like Laguna from NARS in a way. I don't gravitate towards it. It's just a little bit too boring for me. I feel like my makeup needs to be like vibing, you know, and I don't feel the vibe with this one. So I'm gonna declutter. Next, we have the Creme Shop cream bronzer here. So here's what it looks like on the inside. It definitely leans a bit more cooler in tone. I'll tell you guys honestly, I really do have a few cream bronzers that I really am tried and true to with. How do you say that? So I'm gonna declutter this. I don't think that I'll find myself actually using this religiously, so I'm gonna say goodbye. Next, I have this Glam Bronzer here by L'Oreal. It's in 01. I purchased this a little while ago. I really did love it at that time, but I don't find that I use it so much anymore. Also, it's discontinued and it's, you know, it was limited edition, so I could never like necessarily use it in videos or anything. So for that reason also, I just feel like I don't gravitate towards it way too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. Although the formula was really nice, it was very smooth and it was pretty easy to work with. This one right here is one that I'm definitely going to keep. It's the Bronze Please by L'Oreal as well. I think this is maybe their reformulated one. One of my subscribers actually sent this over, which I thought was so sweet. I used it a handful of times and I really loved what it did for my skin. I have to use it more because it was really gorgeous on, so I'm going to keep this. Next up, I have the Natural Face Palette here by Too Faced. We get 2 bronzers, 2 blushes, and 2 highlighters. I kept it in the bronzer drawer because I mainly used it for the bronzers. Occasionally I'll pop into the blushes and then the highlighters as well. You know, with this one, I feel like I was very into it when it came out and I used it a decent amount of times, but for a while now I haven't really been gravitating towards it and I feel like it's literally just sitting in my drawers, so I feel like I'd probably be able to give it a better home, you know? So as cute as it is and as amazing as it smells, I think it's time to say goodbye, and so I'm gonna declutter this. Next up, I have this compact here from Too Faced. It's the Pineapple Sun Duo. It's a really cute duo. We get a highlighter here and then a bronzer. It's one that I purchased from Sephora for the full price tag, even though I know we've seen this at TJ, I want to say. I'm going to declutter it. I'll tell you why. I don't necessarily use the highlighter because it's a little bit too dark for me. And then the bronzer is just a regular go-to typical bronzer that I like, but I feel like I have already like a few of those that I don't feel like I necessarily need to keep this in my collection, you know? I'm trying to be as realistic as I can be in my declutter, so I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Next up, I have the Park Avenue Princess Bronzer by Tarte. I adore this. It has like the perfect sheen to it. I would say my top 5 bronzers, just to give you guys a little bit of info, my top 5 bronzers are this, the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Milk Bronzer, is that what it's called? The Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer, Hula Bronzer, and I think Elf. Elf kind of kicked its way up there too. But yes, I'm going to go ahead and keep this. And then of course I have the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. I thought I had the Milk Chocolate, but no, this is the Chocolate Soleil Bronzer, which I love the milk, I love this one. They're both amazing. Here's what it looks like on the inside. Obsessed with this. It's a bit too dark for me, but if I use a light hand, it's perfect and it blends in amazingly. I adore this. Keeping. Next up, I have the Laura Mercier Bronze 03 Bronzer. And as you guys can see here, I hit a little bit of pan on it. I love this. It's so good. It had like this dome shape to it. And I don't know if you guys can see here, but yeah. like I've used this. I've used this a bunch of times. It has more of like a warmer undertone to it. It could look very warm toned very fast if you go very heavy handed, but if used sparingly, it's stunning on the skin and I'm obsessed. I mean, this right here speaks for itself. Love keeping. I also have it in the baby size, and I think I'm going to keep this one as well because I'm almost done with this one too. For the Hula, I felt like that was more like on the newer side, so I figured I could just declutter that to someone, you know, who wants to have it. But for this, I feel like I'm almost done with it, so I'm going to keep it just because I'm almost done with it. Okay, I repeated myself like 46 times. Keep. Next up, I have the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. This is also one that I really enjoy. I haven't used it in a hot minute, in a real hot minute. I'm gonna keep it. Now that I'll have less bronzers, I'll be able to kind of like see this and be like, yeah, let's use you, because as you guys can see, I hit pan. I really like this. For a drugstore bronzer, it's A++. I have one of these little ones by Becca. It's her Sunlit Bronzers in Capri Coast. I do like this. It has a nice sheen to it. It looks gorgeous on the skin. Very effortless, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter it. I don't gravitate towards it as much as I used to, and there are a few other bronzers that I probably enjoy more than this. I love this, but I just kind of feel like I don't use it way too much, so I'm gonna declutter. I then have this cream bronzer right here from Physicians Formula. So I think that this bronzer is pretty nice. It just smells so bad though. It literally smells like Play-Doh, not in a good way. Does Play-Doh ever smell good? I don't know. So I'm not sure if this is maybe just a little bit old, or I'm not really sure what the story is. I might have to just check out Ulta to see if this is really how they smell, if they have a tester there. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. Next I have this Covergirl bronzer here in Golden Tan. I think this is nice. It's not the best drugstore bronzer I've ever tried. It has a slight luminous finish to it. There are other luminous bronzers that I probably enjoy more than this. I'm thinking I might just check out a few other shades in their line just to kind of see what else they have, but for this shade, the Golden Tan one, I wasn't like crazy about, so I want to declutter. Then I have this foundation actually, but I use it as a cream bronzer. It's amazing. The shade is perfect. It's in, one second, Coconut. I think it's one of the deepest shades in the line. I love this. It works like a charm. I think I might have used this for my sister on her wedding day as well, and it's beautiful on the skin, so I'm keeping this for sure. Next up I have this Pac-Man bronzer. This is so cute. So basically on the inside you have like these bowls. It has like a luminous vibe to it. I think it's cute. I think it's fun. I love Pac-Man and all of that. I don't use this way too much. I don't feel like it really does anything for the skin necessarily. I mean, I could use this for the eyes as maybe like a bronzer topper, if that's a thing. I don't know. But I think realistically, I just feel like maybe it's time to just say goodbye. So I think I'm gonna declutter this. Next bronzer we have here is from Ofra Cosmetics in collaboration with Samantha March in River. We get a luminous bronzer on this side and then more of like a matte-ish satin bronzer here. I don't tend to mix this together. I like to use each one separately to the most part. I like this. I think it adds a nice warm tone effect to the cheeks. Now that I'm gonna get rid of some bronzers, I feel like I'm probably gonna give this a bit more love. I really want to, honestly. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. Next up we have this bronzer here from Kylie Cosmetics in Tequila Tan. Well, I think that this is so pretty. It's beautiful. It's a perfect cool toned just bronzer that would work out really well for my skin. I feel like because I'm keeping so much already, I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this, even though I feel like it would be perfect. I think I'm keeping a decent amount, so I don't necessarily feel like I need to have this in my life, so I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye. Next up I have 3 of these like contouring wands from Ofra Cosmetics. So this shade right here is in Sunrise, Sunset, and Dusk. I love the shade names. I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one, but I'm gonna keep these 2. This one right here has more like a cooler undertone to it, and then this right here has like a warmer, deeper undertone to it. So keep 2, declutter. Next up I have this Essence Matte Bronzing Powder Palette. I love the fact that there are 4 shades in here, so it could be pretty universally flattering. These 2 shades are pretty dark for me, but these 2 shades do work out pretty well. I like this. I'm not fully obsessed with it. I think it's a pretty good drugstore bronzing palette. Probably not the best ever, but I still like what it does for my skin. It makes me look pretty good, you know? And I probably do want to use this in like a get ready with me video, or like if I'll do like a drugstore week or something, I definitely would want to pull this out. I want to use it a bit more before I decide to declutter it, because so far I think it's good. It's not the best, but it's good. Next up I have these 2 from Wet n Wild. So I have the Sunset Striptease bronzer and then a Ticket to Brazil. I do like these. I think I liked this one a bit more. This one not so much. I'm gonna declutter these. I just counted how much bronzers I'm keeping and I feel like it's a bit excessive. So as much as I thought that these were great, I have the Essence bronzer from the drugstore, the Physicians Formula one, so I'm gonna declutter these. I also have this bronzer right here by Wet n Wild. It's in You're Dragging Me Down. It's really cool because the embossment right here is like in dragon form. I liked this. I felt like it might have been a bit too dark for my skin. It blended out pretty nicely. I don't tend to use it way too much because I think it was limited edition. So I can never really like, again, use it in videos and stuff like that. And then also I'm keeping so many other ones, so I'm going to declutter this. I also have this bronzer right here by Ulta Beauty. I think this was also limited edition. It's not one that I could find on Ulta's site, I don't think. I thought that this was nice. It had a great cool tone undertone to it, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. Next up, I have these cream contouring like wheels by Ofra Cosmetics. I'm thinking to myself which one I want to keep. I don't feel like I necessarily need both. I like the fact that this one has a deeper shade in the middle, so I can kind of mix that shade with everything else and kind of create my customized color. But then I also like this one because I just feel like maybe it would be easier for me to use. I don't have to mix really because I feel like these tones are maybe better for my skin. So I'm thinking I'm going to declutter this. I'm going to keep this one. Next up, we have this Kaja Stamp Life Bronzer. It's really cool. It's in the shape of a star. So you basically stamp this into like this spongy situation. Open. And then you kind of like that on your face and blend it out. I do use the star to kind of stamp it on my face, but I don't blend it out with the star because I feel like it kind of sucks with blending. However, it's nice to stamp on your face. I love this cream bronzer. It's beautiful on. It's so easy to blend out. The color is amazing and it's really fun to use. So for sure keeping. Next up, I have this trio right here by Urban Decay. We have a bronzer, highlighter, and blush. The bronzer is so pigmented. Like, you know how I go heavy-handed and I'm like okay with that, but this right here just kind of like scares me sometimes because it's like too much. I have to be careful with it. It does look really pretty on the skin. Not too warm, not too cool. The highlighter works out really well for me and the blush is very pretty on. So I'm not ready to declutter this. I think I'm going to still keep it. Plus, I really love like the packaging. It's kind of cool. Okay, and then finally I have the Milk Makeup Cream Bronzer here in Baked. I do really like this bronzer. In the beginning I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but I really love the tone. It blends out okayly. It's not the easiest to blend out, but it's not the hardest either. And I really like how my face looks when I use this, so I'm gonna keep this. Okay, so here are all the bronzers that I'm gonna be keeping. We have 20 in total, which I think is pretty good, right? And then I'm gonna be decluttering 27 bronzers, so in total I had 47. Back to the bronzers that I'm going to be keeping. I honestly feel like I could have probably decluttered more, but I feel like I'm going to finish this off very soon. In regards to the Laura Mercier bronzers, I feel like a few more uses and both of them will be gone. And then in regards to the Essence bronzer, I feel like it's going to take me some time to finish this, but it's also like almost on its way out. I would probably repurchase it anyway, but probably after I finish more bronzers off. But yeah, so I feel like I could have done a little bit better, but I'm thinking because 4 of them are almost on their way out, I think I did pretty good. What do you guys think? Okay, and then back to the drawer. I'm gonna wipe this down and then check back with you guys once it's organized. Here's what the bronzer drawer looks like. I guess similar to the blush drawer, only because with the blushes also I had this whole space empty. But here's where I put like the bigger palettes and then like trios. I have these bigger compacts here which don't really fit here. Here's pretty much where I just put like my square shaped bronzers and then some round ones in the front, but I'll put the Laura Mercier one in the front because I feel like I want to try to finish that off. The compact is huge. And then I put the cream products over here. I was actually over here, but I kind of switched these two because I want to get more use out of these cream products, bronzers, and all of that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Here's a bronzer drawer complete. Definitely so much better than before. It's so much more pleasing to the eye. So how did you think I did? I need to know. Please let me know your thoughts in comments. Once again, if you guys are interested in purchasing any of these items, then I will have all the details on Instagram. I cannot wait for my next declutter video. Like, it gets me nervous because I'm so like, I don't know. But at the same time, it feels nice to declutter. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to reading your comments down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.